Hello everyone, my name is Chris, and in today's episode it's about marketing on social media, but primarily Instagram today. So let's say you had a post and you want to get more eyes to see this post. And so you decided to create an ad on Instagram, and you put your budget, you set your parameters in terms of location and age group. But what if I could tell you that there's a better way of doing that than just kind of going off of your gut and seeing if it really works? So I'm going to try to jump into an ad that my studio Brown Sparrow did and kind of show you what we've done and kind of give you some tips on like how do you can really make a better paid advertisement, because Instagram is making a lot of money off of us. So let's just make sure they work for us instead of the other way around. So this is an ad my design studio Brown Sparrow put together. We wanted to sell local design service for $70. So this is the image, and I think it looks really great. And we have the caption here and some of the hashtag words. I want to just show you some of the analytics behind the scenes. So we set a budget for about $60 for 30 days. We paused it around the 15th day to kind of like see what was going on and see if we need to make an adjustment or to create a new ad to take its place based on the information that was gathered while the ad was running. So we can see about like 25 people actually went to our website during the 15-day process. Our ad was discovered around 2,500 people, which is great. And this discovery really means is how many people saw your ad that's outside of your Instagram kind of like circle, like who you're not following, who's following you or whatnot. This is like 2,500 unique people who saw it. So that's the discovery rate. So you can see it's around there. And this is kind of like information that everybody kind of like gets on Instagram, like what days, popular, your profile visits, website clicks, things like that. So we can kind of get an idea like what's going on. And some people would just see that and then just make an ad based on this data, but that's not really marketing properly. So we're going to use a tool called Google Trends, one of my favorite news sites that I discover. And what is Google Trend is Google's website that lets you know like what's trending in their search engine, which is really great and kind of like fun if you just want to poke around. But what if I can tell you that you can kind of reverse engineer that and make it work for you as a marketing tool? So when you go to Google Trends, you kind of like see what people are searching right now. Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian are very popular right now. That's not a big thing. Whoopie-doo on that one. So let's say we're going to use Brown Sparrow as an example, and we're going to use logo design services. So we're going to put in logo design, and Google's going to show us like how, what's going on with that search word. So we see it as logo design in the United States, 12 months. This is just like the generic parameters, but we can actually change this to kind of like get better insights. But just right off the bat, I have a better idea of like what's going on in terms of like local design services. So if I'm setting my next campaign, I can see that New York, Kansas, Georgia, and Idaho, and Louisiana are actually the areas that are ranking highest in terms of local services. So if you could think about this like, okay, if I'm going to set up an ad, then I can have my ad targeting these areas because people are looking for local design services in these areas. What's even great about this, if you're like a local business and you sell cookies, you could, and let's just do an example with like cookies. So let's say so you're selling chocolate chip cookies, right? You're going to get that data for chocolate chip cookies. And we were selling in New York. Let's just use New York for an example. I can see like a lot of people have been doing searches in Utica, Rochester, and so on and so forth. So if I'm going to put an ad together, I can put an ad marketing to these people in the state directly there. So that's really great because you're like, oh, there's a lot of people searching in these areas for chocolate chip cookies. Instead of me just having my marketing budget just hitting New York very broadly, I can really narrow it down to areas in a specific location to kind of like increase the likelihood of getting a sale. What's even great is that, look, keto chocolate chip cookies is like a really popular thing. So if you're a bakery and you were selling chocolate chip cookies, you can jump on the bandwagon. It's like, oh, keto is like the newest thing. Let me make keto chocolate chip cookies, and then let me post that on Instagram, and then take that as further step and say I can market that to people in these areas in New York. So using Google Trends can really help you kind of like figure out what's popular, and but not only what's popular, but what's popular within that fits in your business, and then how to what area to market it in. And that's which is really great, because then you could probably have multiple ads set up to target specific things, so you can kind of like spread your budget properly when you're doing things like that. One last thing I want to note about when you're using Google Trends and when you're marketing on social media is that to make sure that you also have a marketing funnel. It's great that you have an ad and it's running and people are seeing it, but make sure that you kind of like thought out the process of what you want that ad to do and what do you expect people to do from when they see it to when they click it, and ultimately until they kind of become a transaction. And just to kind of like give you a quick idea, what I really mean is that, for example, for like our social media ads for logo design, we have it set up. So our marketing funnel is, once you see the ad, you have two options. You could, technically click to kind of like view our Instagram page. But if you don't want to do that, you actually want to take a chance on us and you want to learn more, when you click on that, you are brought to our logo design page. And here we have a little bit more information, and then you can see the continuation of that marketing funnel, because here I have like the ad, letting people know it's 40% off and that they can sign up today. But then I made it easy for people to kind of like see more examples of the logos that the studio's done in the past, and to kind of like convince them like, yeah, we're kind of like really, we know what we're doing in terms of designing logos. So it's really imperative that you kind of like have that funnel all thought together, thought out, because if it's not, then that can also hinder the performance of your marketing campaign, because people may actually click and go somewhere, but the whole process has not been thought out, and then so they kind of like abandon it. And once people start abandoning it, it's really hard to capture them for any other marketing services. So that's just like another tip I want to bring up. And that's about it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to us. You can send us an email. We can actually do this whole process for you. But other than that, we'll see you next time. Cheers.